Hey, I'm Butch Hartman, the creator of the Fairly OddParents and Danny Phantom, and I want you to listen to Influence with Jordan Elliott here on WRHU.
Odd parents, fairly odd parents. It lets you live when you were a kid with fairly odd parents.
Yeah, right.
88.7 FM Radio Hofstra University. You are listening to Influenced with Jordan Elliott. As always, I'm Jordan Elliott, and today's guest is one of the most iconic animators in Nickelodeon history. He's best known for creating Danny Phantom, Tough Puppy, and of course, the Fairly Odd Parents. Please welcome to our show, Butch Hartman. Butch, how are you doing today?
Hey, man, doing great, Jordan. Thanks for having me on today. I really appreciate it.
I saw that before you even worked at Nickelodeon, you were an animator at Hanna-Barbera. Tell us a little bit about your origin story.
Wow, my origin story. Well, it's almost like I was rocketed as a youth from the planet Krypton in a ship, and under Earth's yellow sun, I get, superpower. No, I'm kidding. I hope you guys know I'm kidding. I know I'm originally from Michigan, born in Detroit, and I grew up in the 70s and watched a lot of Saturday morning TV as a kid. I come from kind of a chaotic childhood, a lot of crazy things going on in my childhood. And the way for me to escape that was to watch cartoons, read comic books, watch movies, that type of stuff. So my love for drawing came in when I was very young. I just started drawing a lot and really didn't play sports, was kind of a nerd. I loved Star Wars, E.T. and The Empire Strikes Back, and I did Star Wars, but like, Raiders of the Lost Ark and things like that. So wanted to do cartoons, but never knew I could do it for a living. I just wanted to do it. Then as I got older, I discovered this school out in California, the magical land of California, a school called California Institute of the Arts, founded by Walt Disney. And they were one of the only schools at the time, one of the only schools that had a character animation program. So I really wanted to go there and I didn't know how to get in. So I started working on something called a portfolio, where you basically put a lot of your work together. I knew I had to have a lot of life drawing in my portfolio. So I would go to the Detroit Zoo in the wintertime and I'd be standing there with my big parka, my big coat, my sketch pad, drawing the animals and getting better. Anyway, long story short, I got into school. So then I just got into the industry after that. I started doing television animation. I always wanted to work for Disney and do movies, but I never worked for Disney. I always ended up going into TV.
Wow, that's awesome. You mentioned you watched a lot of Saturday morning cartoons growing up. Which cartoons were your favorite?
Space Ghost. I love Johnny Quest. I love the Flintstones. That was on prime time actually. I loved Super Friends. I love the Wacky Races. I used to love Speed Racer, very early anime, Speed Racer. I loved Battle of the Planets. I loved Spider-Man, Spider-Man, Spider-Man. That show back in the day. And I just loved all that stuff. And I really think it's what contributed now to my love of superheroes and comic books and things and comedy. Disney was a huge influence on me, but you really couldn't get a lot of Disney cartoons on TV back in the day. You had to wait till the Disney movies came to the theater, and only then could you go see them. And I couldn't really go to the theater that much as a kid, so I only would watch whatever was on TV. And so, when the Wonderful World of Disney would be on, they would actually show a cartoon on occasion. I would really, really look forward to that.
I heard that you are great friends with the Family Guy creator Seth MacFarlane, and he actually named the character Dr. Hartman after you. Have you ever created a television character for someone else you know?
I know that we created the character of Chip Skylark. He ended up being voiced by Chris Kirkpatrick from the group NSYNC. And when we drew Chip Skylark, we didn't have any intention of making him look like Chris Kirkpatrick, but it was odd that Chris kind of does look like Chip Skylark. So that was kind of fun. I know I did Arnold Schwarzenegger as Jorgen von Strangle was supposed to be Arnold, and Doug Dimmadome was sort of like, I think maybe a Foghorn Leghorn kind of a ripoff of a guy. But yeah, it was really, really fun to be able to give a loving tribute to some of your heroes. Tough Puppy was modeled after like Maxwell Smart from the movie the show Get Smart. And so we had a lot of inspiration from a lot of different places.
Wow, it sounds like you had so many of these different inspirations coming in, making some of the greatest cartoon characters of my generation, definitely. I'm someone who is an aspiring television creator and writer. Can you give us a little bit of a glimpse into your process? Do you have like a thing that you do that helps you get in the zone? I recently talked to Jeff Kinney, the author of the Diary of a Wimpy Kid series, and he said he loves to eat Oreos when he writes. Is there something specific that gets you in the zone?
I don't ever think I'm out of the zone. For me, anyway, I'm always working on something. Either I'm drawing something or I'm writing something. Like before I got on this call with you, I was illustrating a background for a new pilot I'm working on. I was drawing this Danny Phantom drawing earlier today, Danny Phantom's
Wow,
family.
that's
I was drawing
awesome.
that today. My process is basically, look, I got 24 hours in the day. How am I going to use those 24 hours? And my hobby is doing this. That's my hobby. I don't play golf. I don't play tennis. I don't fish. I can do those things and they're fun, but for me, I'd rather spend the day coming up with something new. That's just for me. So my process really never stops. I just really like it. I like doing what I love. I mean, I like to draw, write stories. I love to listen to stories while I'm writing stories. It's so weird. I can do that. I can listen to another story while I'm writing my own. It's so odd. But that's what I like to do.
If you are just tuning in, you are listening to Influence with Jordan Elliott on 88.7 FM Radio Hofstra University. Today we're sitting down with Butch Hartman, creator of some of the most iconic Nickelodeon cartoons, Danny Phantom, Tough Puppy, Fairly OddParents. Butch, I recently saw you at the Boston Fan Expo and you had the longest line in the place by far. Seems like you have so many diehard fans. I'm sure you saw a lot of sketches, tattoos, and of course, cosplay. What character of yours do you think gets the most fan love?
I'll tell you, it's so much fun to meet the fans at these fan expos and at the Comic Cons. It is always a thrill, and it gives me just such joy when I see anybody dressed up like my characters at all. I love seeing Cosmo and Wanda. A lot of people dress up like couples will dress up like Cosmo and Wanda because they're fairly easy costumes to pull off, which is easy. It's fun. Those are great. Saw a great Jorgen von Strangle. Some guy came up and he had a giant wand, like the big shotgun wand, but he had a 3D printed star that he did on the end of the wand. That was really cool.
Wow.
Saw a great box ghost. Some dude was dressed up as the box ghost from Danny Phantom. Some great Danny Phantoms I see. And boy, if someone's got a great costume, I always come around and get my picture taken with them so I can post it on my Instagram. So that's always a lot of fun. But I encourage anybody, man, if you want to end up on my Instagram or take a picture. I would love to see you guys dressed up as my characters. It's such a blast.
I mean, I'm looking at your room behind you. You have so many of your characters hanging up. I see some classic Fairly Odd Parents toys behind you. You got the big Danny Phantom hanging over you. It's
And that used to be at Nickelodeon. And he has no logo on his chest. That was season one.
oh
There's
wow.
no logo on his chest. Yeah. So that was a funny story. We did Danny Phantom season one with no logo. And then the network execs came to me and said, "Hey, you have a superhero here. You need to give him a logo so we can make some toys.
Yeah.
You need that Superman S on the chest."
You've found such a cool way to stay connected with your fans through social media. You've gotten
Hmm.
millions and millions of views on TikTok, but with the good, the bad always comes. Are you bothered by seeing any of the criticism that comes towards you?
Oh, I look at it this way. I don't get bothered. No one likes criticism, but if anyone's going to criticize, I look at the bright side. I think, look, the internet is a gigantic place with millions of people on it. If you don't get criticized at some point, you're doing something wrong, I suppose. So I do the best I can to put good stuff out there. And if some people don't like it, there's nothing I can do about it, unfortunately.
I know that you are very religious, and other religious creators have faced backlash for using wizardry and magic, including J.K. Rowling. Have you ever had backlash come to you from the Christian community for the Fairly Odd Parents and all of the magical things that happen there?
I wouldn't say backlash. I would say questions. They would say, I know you're a Christian. How could you do a show about magic? And I say, well, I'm not really endorsing the magic because if you look at the show, everything goes wrong with the magic. Nothing ever goes right with the magic. So I'm not saying that magic is real, and I'm not saying that it's better than Jesus or anything like that. But if you look at the way Fairly Odd Parents has enabled me to bless other people, through the storytelling or even the finances I get through doing the show, I'm able to bless a lot of people. And so I look at it that way. I think that's a really amazing thing I get to do, and I'm very grateful for it.
And speaking of your faith, you've recently started a faith-based cartoon in that signature Butch Hartman style called The Garden. What
Yeah,
inspired you to do that? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
absolutely. You guys can check it out at gardencartoon.com. And if you're a parent or a grandparent out there and you have children 5 to 8 or grandchildren, I really would encourage you to check out the Garden Cartoon. I looked at the Christian marketplace when I left Nickelodeon. And I thought, there's some great cartoons out here, but there needs to be more. And I thought it'd be great to put another one out there because I wish I'd had a Christian cartoon when I was a kid. I didn't get saved or encountered Jesus till I was like in my mid-30s. But had I known more about it when I was younger, I might have looked into it a little bit more. So I wanted a cartoon that explained, who Jesus was in a really fun way and maybe encourage kids to read the Bible. I got a bunch of songs in the show, like Schoolhouse Rock, that teach kids scripture through song. And it's a lot of fun. So it's basically Fairly Odd Parents with scripture in it. So I encourage everybody to watch it and check it out because we do our best to make it funny. I hate using the word safe, even though it is safe. I just keep people take that as like it's gonna be boring, but we don't make it boring. We make it really entertaining as possible.
But you make everything you do as entertaining as possible. I'm definitely gonna have to check out The Garden. Once again, Butch Hartman, thank you so much for joining us. Butch, is there anything else you would like to leave the current class at Hofstra with, all the kids who were inspired by you, grew up watching your cartoons?
Well, thanks, Jordan, so much. I just want to encourage everybody out there that if you want to be a storyteller, if you want to be an animator or an artist or just anyone who works in entertainment in any way, understand you have a responsibility when you have that screen available to you, whether it's an iPhone or an iPad or a TV screen or whatever it is. You're putting something on that screen and you're influencing somebody. So I just encourage you to try and influence people the right way and take their responsibility seriously. It's a lot of fun. It could be an amazing career. It's going to take a lot of hard work, but if you work hard and don't give up, you will succeed. The only way you can fail is if you give up. And like I was saying on my YouTube channel, Art Gives You Power. Use it wisely. So always use it wisely.
Thank you so much, Butch. 88.7 FM Radio Hofstra University. This has been Influence with Jordan Elliott. I'll see you next time.